before lunch, if you remember, I know it was a long time ago, you all were talking in your regions and sharing about what you've learned over the past few days at conference. And you've shared with people that you may recognize in your region about how your minds and how your actions may have been transformed after listening to some of the lectures and some of your reflections afterwards. And now we want to kind of further extend that conversation and that discussion within your small groups with a series of additional questions. And these questions may be some that you already discussed or touched on before, or they may be something new. And so we want to give you another opportunity to synthesize what you've learned, to really reflect and take in all of the different classes, all of the teachings that were prepared for over the past few days, and be able to remind each other in your small group on how you can further empower yourself and further learn and practice those concepts. And so it's just going to be a series of discussion questions, and we'll get started right away. So the first question that we hope that you can discuss is, which activity, lecture, or workshop did you find the most meaningful, and why was it meaningful? How did it inspire you? What did it inspire you to do? So go ahead and discuss. All right, so if we can please wrap up our conversations. I've heard a lot of interesting stories and interesting discussions being shared, and so I would love if 3 groups could share something they've heard in the past discussion of what class was most inspiring. Doesn't matter. Raise your hand. Raise your hand if you want to share. Oh, right there. Does that work?
Thank you. So we talk about the case study that we experienced yesterday, and it's really thought-provoking that you cannot really have just one right answer, like 3,000 temporary houses or versus 500 permanent houses. And I was thinking that it really makes me to think how we can really make the decision that aligns with the Dharma and aligns with the master's instruction. And also sister here helped me to learn more about the procedure, how the team really get to those decisions. Is that there is a assessment team that go to the on the spot, and they will report all what they found to masters and also the team and all your suggestions. The team will think thoroughly on all those advice and then come to the final decision. But after that, everyone need to support that decision. So I think this is a really kind of a very good procedure that can help us understand the situation and also accept what we need to accept and then just do it. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. Can I get another share back? And then we'll get back.
Okay, hello everyone. I'm Yu Qing. I'm from Malaysia, and I'm now studying in Tzu Chi University in Taiwan, and I go here for internship under Safe Chu. I'm sure that you have seen me yesterday, right? In the steps for Earth, the section of for Earth. Yeah, I'm glad that just now my group have shared that this session is the most impressive section that they take part. One of my group member, and another is sign language, because this is my first time to learn the sign language in American style of sign language. So I'm so impressive too. And also the section of this morning, there's meditation walk that makes me miss my family, which are in Malaysia now. And yeah, I'm really touched when I'm walking in meditation. This is my very first experience, and I really appreciate all of you. And I really appreciate to take part in this English training retreat. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and we're so happy to be able to have you take part, and as well as to be able to have those classes. I know there was a hand over there.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Andrew, and I'm from Taiwan. So, but she just shares the sort of the thing I want to share. But okay, so I have to thank the keynote speaker here and also the staff here to achieve this retreat, and also the person who invited me. And furthermore, because I usually understand the Dharma, Tzu Dharma, spirit through Chinese. So actually, I know the concept of the four spirit soup, but in English version, I understand it's like Catholic refreshment, because I think it's the kind of like a new concept. But hard to say, but it's like kind of a refreshment to me to truly knowing the Tzu spirit through two languages. Then after that, I'm able to share with the Tzu concept or the four spirit soup in both languages. So I think that's quite meaningful to me for joining this retreat. So thank you, everyone. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And that leads up right up to the next question that we want you to discuss. We talked a lot about the 4-ingredient spiritual soup of contentment, gratitude, understanding, and acceptance. And so in your small groups, I want you to discuss which ones do you most connect to? Which ones do you find the most easiest to practice? And then which ones do you struggle with, right? Some of these are very hard and that they really are challenging for you to focus your spiritual cultivation on. And so I'd love for you guys to discuss within your small group, how does that come? How do those challenges appear in your volunteer work? All right. So I know I heard a lot of good conversations, and I want to make sure that some of these conversations are shared with the larger group. And so would any group or any person like to share a little bit about what they heard or what they shared in their small group with the rest of the audience?
I think the easiest spiritual soup ingredient for me is gratitude. I think in Tzu a lot of times we say kan'en, and it's very much part of the culture here. And it's easy to take with you outside of Tzu too. Like you realize that you're grateful for this and that. The hardest one, I think, for me in daily life is understanding. In Tzu, we can easily, because we're constantly reminded to understand and baorong, I find it hardest. So in volunteering, we are able to understand from other people's perspective, but I find it hardest when I am at home, when I'm facing my own family or my sister especially, and it's just like, why don't you understand where I'm coming from? Like, I don't know why you think this way. Like, come on. And it's almost like we forget that we're Tzu people. It's like, what did we just learn this whole time in Tzu? So it's hard for me to bring that home, and it's something I'm constantly working on. So it's in the workplace, among your friends, you're constantly like practicing this, but it's almost like the people you love the most that it's hardest to practice with.
Great. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, and I think many people relate to, it's easy to embody some of these principles when you're in a volunteer mindset, but how do you translate that into daily practice? How do you really focus that cultivation when you're interacting with your boss, when you're interacting with your friends, your families? That's kind of the hardest part, and that a lot of people struggle with trying to translate properly. Is there anyone else that would like to share? Out in the back.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Michael from New York. Actually, I want to second what Connie just said. Sometimes when we are wearing this uniform, we practice those four better than we practice without the uniform. So actually, the first day, Sister Grace said I look like a flower. My face expression. I'm thinking, wow, that's because I'm wearing this uniform. Probably my husband won't say that. But at our table, my sharing was contentment and gratitude. It's easier to practice because that's, you know, within yourself, you self-cultivate yourself. But understanding and acceptance really varies. For example, myself, when I deal with like a Tzu thing, I might do more. but at my work, because of the pressure of deadline and the business requirements and some like a monetary kind of pressure, then you and also because working in the financial industry, everything is like you have to make it happen within the next second because no one wants to listen why. So at that moment, you kind of lose the steps, the practice, understanding, and acceptance. Basically, you just want to get the result. So I think for me, it's like I want to practice more. And also the other day we were learning saying, yes, I understand, but. So I do that a lot for sure. Thank you, Rick.
Hi guys, my name is Will from New York City. So for me, what I'm most connected with is definitely content. I don't really have a lot of desire, to be honest. Like whenever there's like new iPhone, when new gadget came out, I don't really care about them. So, but besides that, yeah, after look back on everything I have, I'm just content with what I have so far, and which leads to next thing, which is my most struggle part, which is gratitude. So it's always easy to say thanks and being grateful, but for me, on a personal level, how can you do that just beyond words? And for me, I'm still figuring that out right now. Especially toward parents, toward your mentor, just everybody surrounding you in general. And yeah, that's that.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing, everyone. So for the last few minutes of the class, we have one more question. And this question is kind of relating it to the regional discussion and thinking about using the 4 ingredients, using contentment, gratitude, understanding, and acceptance as we build our larger Bodhisattva family. And I know this idea was touched upon in many of the classes, but I wanted to create a space for you guys to synthesize the ideas and to come together to think really about, right, how do these 4 principles weave together to help us and to give us a toolkit in which we can approach others to create a larger Bodhisattva family within our communities, for the teaching within our college campuses, and within our home region. So please discuss in your groups. Okay. All right. So if we could come back together one last time, I'd like to hear just 2 tables kind of share kind of what they discussed about how the 4 ingredient spiritual soup would be important in building a Bodhisattva family. Can we get table 7?
Hi y'all. So kind of drawing back and towards like my TCCA days back at UT Austin, we purposely, for example, when we're like tabling, we want to call ourselves the Buddhist Tzu Chi Foundation. We just say Tzu Chi Foundation, Buddhism. We take that out just to not scare people away. And then we have like Christian members, we had Hindu members, not just Asians. It was inclusive, it was nice. And then the lessons, though, no matter what background you're from, we were discussing how anyone from any faith or any religion can really appreciate them. They're pretty universal, like gratitude. Anyone can express gratitude. So I feel like these lessons are pretty universal, pretty bonding, and people come to Tzu Chi, and like some of our members didn't even realize it was a Buddhism teaching until later on, but they're just good life lessons that anyone can appreciate. Yeah.
Great, thank you. Can we get one more sharing back there?
Hi, my name is Kathy. I'm from DC region. Go Terps. All right. We'll practice later. So in our group, we kind of talk about 2 aspects. First, like internally, practicing the 4 spiritual soup will help us work more effectively together. Just in terms of like communication, if we have more understanding, more acceptance, we'll be able to understand all of our teammates' perspectives and approach, and sort of incorporate everyone's opinion or thoughts. And then externally, going back to what we've been talking about in the past few days about showing what we believe rather than talking. So by practicing the four spiritual soup, we can show other people that, you know, we want you to join us because this is what we believe in, and we believe it's good for you, and we believe that you can do this too. So that's why we think four spiritual soup is really important in building a bigger Bodhisattva family.
Great. Thank you so much. All right, so we're running out of time. So as a conclusion, I want to thank you all for synthesizing all the workshops and all the different classes that we've engaged in over the past few days. Hopefully, some of these discussions inspired you to continue to reflect on how you can partner with each other, how you can work with and hold each other accountable to continue to cultivate and develop some of the skills, some of the toolkits, some of these principles that we've discussed and that we've tried to explore over the past few days. I was personally very inspired from all the discussions and all the sharings that I heard as I walked around the room, and I'm sure that as we all go back to our own respective regions, that we will be able to use these principles to empower ourselves to do more for the community, to further and to grow our Bodhisattva family, so that next year or the next time that English Spiritual Retreat happens, we will have an even larger Bodhisattva family here to learn and to grow and to share from. And so with that, I'm going to pass the mic back to Austin as we prepare for the final class.
Thank you, Steve, for tying it together, all of the themes and concepts that we've been learning, discussing, and engaging with over the last 3 days. So we have one class left. Wow. So let's take a quick 5-minute stretch break. So if you don't need to leave the room, you can kind of hang around here and stretch. If you need to use the bathroom, please use the bathroom. When we come back, we are going to start the closing ceremony at 1:35. Okay, 5 minutes from now. Thank you all.